Hello, testing?
We can hear you, Jim.
Okay. Are we ready to begin?
We're ready to go anytime you're ready.
Good morning. The September 9th Construction Advisory and Appeals Board meeting of the City of Longview is now called to order. This meeting is being conducted via teleconference to abide by county, state, and federal recommendations to limit in-person gatherings to help slow the spread of the coronavirus. We thank you for your understanding. Roll call. Due to the format of this meeting, we will begin today with a roll call to confirm all members of the Construction Advisory and Appeals Board are present and able to participate in our considerations. Board members, when I call your name, will you please respond in the affirmative if you are present? Ronnie Rice.
Ronnie Rice is not logged in at this time.
David Jacobs.
David Jacobs is not logged in at this time.
Dustin Eberhardt.
Not at this time.
Earl Raybon.
Earl Raybon is here.
Hey.
Hey, all right.
Dustin Sullivan.
I'm here.
Nathan McKinley.
I'm here.
Don Francis.
Not at this time.
Michael Ginch.
Here.
Jim Hugman, of course. We will now do a roll call of the city staff. Director of Development Services, Michael Shirley.
Present.
Assistant Director of Development Services, Ingrid Self.
Here.
Building Official, Todd Keyball.
Here.
Citizen comment. We will begin with the citizen comment portion of our meeting. Those wishing to participate in citizen comment today were invited to access this meeting through a link to register with the teleconferencing application. Richard Yickley is coordinating the technical side of this meeting and will assist with moderating the citizen comment portion of our meeting. When you are called to, so should Richard take up from here?
Sure, I can. It'll be easy because no one is currently logged into the meeting to speak. So I think you're good to move past citizen comment.
Okay. So we don't need to, no residents want to speak today, okay? Discussion. We are now on to item 3, the discussion of the draft Uniform Development Code. Director of Development Services, Michael Shirley, will give a brief overview.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay.
Hugman. At our last meeting, our consultant, Friesa Nichols, gave a presentation on the process that we've gone through as far as the initial stakeholder meetings and through the process of the drafting stages. And some of the comments that we received made us take a step back so that we could have a little bit of extra time to give y'all an opportunity to review the draft and to be able to answer any questions or comments that you guys may have. And that's kind of what we're here to do today, is to go through and try to answer any questions or provide any feedback. But the first thing that I'd like to do is kind of talk about the purpose of the UDC as it relates to the Construction Advisory and Appeals Board. So the Unified Development Code is a document that consists of all of our land development guidelines, our zoning ordinance, our subdivision ordinance, but it also includes all of our standards, development standards for water, sewer, storm drainage, and such. But it also is unique in that we instead of stopping with just our land development standards, we did incorporate all of our building standards as well, such as the adoption of our 2012 international code family that we have adopted in our code of ordinances. And that's a little unique. Most development UDCs don't include all of that, but we felt like in our quest to create a one-stop shop in development services, that the expectation is that it includes everything from start to finish in a typical development process. That includes everything from the beginning of zoning through the subdivision process, through the land development process, and platting, and then on to the building and permitting processes. And so one of the kind of our charge with that was, we wanted to go through all of those different standards that builders and developers interact with our department and divisions on, and put it in an easy to use format that basically communicated well with each chapter. That's a lot of information that was not consistent throughout. They were all adopted at different times, and we wanted to make sure that it was easy to find too. That it was in one place and was a seamless kind of through the process order. One of the things that we wanted to do as well was make sure that kind of the consistency throughout, and that it was consistency and predictability. Those were two key words that we heard throughout from feedback, either through elected and appointed officials as well as through the development community, is that they wanted to make sure that our processes were consistent, that they knew what to expect, that they were going to have to go through, and that they wanted the predictability there. So that's what we feel like we've done. As far as the building and building code side of things, we didn't really make much, if any, changes. Really all we did was took the existing adoption and then implemented it into the UDC document. We did go ahead and codify some of the things that were previously set up as building code exemptions, and that is more dealing with the administrative side of things, like the standards for this board, what their duties and powers are, listing that out so it's easy to find, easy to know if you have, if you need to apply for a variance or a waiver, who has the authority and what are the process and steps for that, as well as contractor types and permitting processes that are somewhat universal throughout the divisions in development services, if that makes sense. So as far as the actual meat and potatoes, if you will, as far as the building, the mechanical, plumbing, electrical, the codes, the 2012 and the other versions that we have adopted, there's no changes to those. That will come at a later date that we'll present that detail to y'all. And under the bylaws and so forth of the Construction Advisory and Appeals Board, one of y'all's duties is to review and make recommendations as it relates to the building and construction codes. And since we were, part of this is including that and streamlining that, we felt it appropriate to include y'all in the adoption process and make sure that you guys understand what the UDC is and what part of that you guys play and what role you have there. And so that's kind of the remarks that I have, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Michael. All board members will be given an opportunity to ask questions, and I'll do it by roll call. So if you have questions when you are addressed, please ask them. And I believe that Ronnie Rice is not here. David Jacobs is not here. Dustin Eberhart was not here. Earl Raybon, do you have any questions or comments?
Well, I've understood what Michael was saying, and I guess the questions I have is when will we need to give our input on any kind of review? Once we make a review, and in order to make any kind of changes, that I don't know if I completely.
Yeah, so what we're doing, we're in the final stages. It's still in draft form, and we're hoping between now and next month to be able to answer any questions and any, I guess, final tweaks that need to be made in the draft we can do. And at next month's Construction Advisory and Appeals meeting, we'll be asking the board to consider making a formal recommendation on the final draft. So anytime between now and the next few weeks, that's when we're going to be accepting any of that final feedback, or today as well, any questions or comments.
Sounds good. I have no further questions or comments.
Thank you, Earl.
All right.
Dustin Sullivan, questions or comments?
Nope.
Hello?
No, I do not.
Okay. Nathan McKinley, questions or comments?
Yeah, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
My main question to Michael is this new format where it's going to be a one-stop shop. Is there any part of that that's like an online module, or is it all still done by paper, face-to-face in the office?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I hope at next month's meeting to be able to show you more of that. That's one of the great things about this with that new format. In laying it out, it will be a interactive PDF to where there will be hyperlinks inserted in the document. So it will be very much a user-friendly in an online format to where you can go in and search, and it'll be hyperlinked. It also has built-in tabs where you can thumb through and things are easy to find. Everything is well-defined. And we've tried to do it in order of how you would go through the development process. And our table of contents is structured in such a way that it's very detailed, so that you're not having to look for something hidden. It's all very well laid out. So the other part of that that will be coming along as we talk about online interaction is we are working with our vendor for our permit tracking software, and we will be launching a online portal that'll be available for the public to interact, to where they'll be able to log in and make application for permits and make payments through that online portal. And so we're in the final stages of working with the consultant to kind of build that for some of our trade permits, because those are more the cash and carry type permits. It'll be easier to kind of beta test that with. And then our hope is to go to a point to where we can do all online interaction with that, where you can even request inspections and so forth, where you can log in and be able to kind of see what we see on the back end of where your projects are.
One more question, Michael. When all this rolls out, is there already a plan in place for how to basically teach our users how to use it? I mean, I know you want it to be somewhat self-explanatory, but I'm sure people will need to be a little bit trained on how to do this.
Sure. So on the online portal piece, yeah, we'll set up some trainings to where people can come in and we can do some training on how to go through, how to request credentials, and how to maneuver the system. As far as the Unified Development Code, yes, any of the staff will be available to walk people kind of through where to find the things that they're looking for, and really our pre-development meetings as well. When someone has a project, that's when we're going to get into and kind of go through and really get into the meat of that and do that on a more individualized basis. But we can, we may have some more broad-based where we can just kind of go through where things are. But that's kind of our plans to kind of see what the specific needs are going to be.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Michael, have y'all thought about possibly, recording one of those trainings and making it available like as a YouTube video, like that way someone could access it at any point?
Yeah, and we've talked with our media group. We are going to be doing some, at next month's meeting, kind of going through and showing some of the usability and some of the features built in. And then our step is to go a step further with that and do some production like that to kind of showcase what it includes and what it can do. So
yeah,
that
okay.
is kind of on the horizon.
Awesome. All right, that's all the questions I got.
Okay, and that was Michael Gintz, is that correct?
This is
No.
Nathan McKinley. Or he was Michael Shirley and Nathan McKinley, I think was who was talking.
Okay, and who asked the question?
Nathan McKinley.
Okay. Oh, no, it came up on my screen that it was Michael Gintz. Michael,
Oh.
Do you have any questions?
You're talking to Michael Gensch now?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Shirley's answered my questions in his preamble,
Okay.
so no questions.
That's very efficient of him.
It really is.
Okay. I guess a lot of it, I'm next in the line, is the online, version. I have seen other states that have state building codes, I guess, and they have a really cool online version that is typically one of the IBC codes that they've made interactive. And hopefully that's the track that we're going to, because it sure makes it a lot easier when you can put in keywords and it gets you somewhere useful.
Yeah.
Instead of thumbing through all the different books. So
it will be similar to that on the land development side. When you get into the actual building codes and the ICC codes, it won't be, because we adopt the 2012 version with amendments, and we don't republish that. We basically, in our UDC, will have a chapter that says this section is amended to read as follows, or this section is deleted in its entirety. Now, one of the things that I think we can do a really good job and a better job of, ICC actually has some online, I'm not going to say they're interactive, but there is the codes are available online for viewing for free. And if you're in those codes quite a bit, you can purchase some memberships, and there's some more functionality there. So just I think part of what we need to do is let people know what resources are out there, third party as well.
Well, Todd, do we have, or does the city staff have that interactive data or the building code?
No, sir, we do not. We just have the paper books and what's offered free online.
Well, that's pretty sad. Because it would really be cool if there was some place that we had the interactive somewhere. So how are people going to know about the amendments? Are they going to have to go through?
And the good thing, previously you had to go and look for the Chapter 19 of the city code and look through the amendments, it will be a section in the UDC. So it'll be super easy to find, and that'll be one of the things that, we'll publicize as well as, hey, we do have some local amendments to the building code. Don't just, there's not many, but we will have those, and there's many other sections that are part of the UDC as well that are like that are out there in various chapters of the Code of Ordinances, but aren't easy to find. And this kind of one-stop document that'll be user-friendly will take out a lot of that guesswork as far as what we have that are local amendments or local codes for that.
So are all the amendments administrative?
No, they're all adopted by City Council.
Well, I know that, but are they, for the most part, how this board may be set up, or are they things that discuss fire ratings and things? I mean, because if you're going through the building code and you think that you're going by the code and there's an amendment somewhere, I'll just go look at the amendments. Would be the best thing.
They're in. It's. Give me just a second. I'm flipping over.
Because I have never come across an amendment that anybody brought to my attention that affected the design, but maybe I just got lucky.
Yeah. So under Article F of the UDC, the Building and Safety Code section, in the each one of those building code, existing building code, residential code, under those, say it's around the 377, 387 page numbers, there will be a section in there that will have amendments. And so some of them are purely administrative, and some of them are just a little bit more detailed than that. Dealing with.
The last time we met, I guess there was a tag for a PDF of this, or somehow we were able to look at the code while we were doing the meeting. Is that still available out there?
Yeah, it's on the city website.
Okay.
LongviewTexas.gov/UDC.
Okay.
That's the homepage for all the UDC documents.
Okay. Does anyone else have any more questions? If there aren't any, then I would like to close this meeting. Finally, please know that as possible, our next few construction advisory and appeal boards meetings will need to be conducted via teleconference like this one. We are adjourned.